In the last video, we tackled Flexbox and we got our design layouts for this section and this section, and just a little bit here. So the rest of the layouts we're going to be using CSS grids. So let's head on over to Tailwind over here. And Tailwind uses this kind of 12 column grid system that they set up. So to set up a grid, we need to add the grid utility class. We specify some columns, and we can specify a gap here. So for this one, you can see there is 3 columns with a gap of 4. And there's different responsives as well. You can see that. And we'll take a look at that once we head into our responsive section. And you can do some customization. So let's take a look at how we can apply that. So we have our site here. So we're going to be taking a look at this. This is what our image looks like. So mostly it's going to be this, and we're not going to see very much different because we'll be looking at it when we are in our responsive. So let's take a look at cards first. Yeah, this section. And we'll take a look at what we need to do here. So I don't think there's very much, but let's add our section here because we have these images here. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to add a grid here. Oops, not gridded. We're going to need 4 images. I think this is blue, this is red, and this is white. Blue, red, white. Now we're going to need to add a class here. Class equals grid. Grid calls 4. Add a py of 10. And okay, very quickly we're able to do that. Now we need to add a background color here because we have this overlapping and we can't see it because the image doesn't stretch. So let me go ahead and do that. Grab this color picker. Okay, that should be. Now if I go into so I think it's called colors. Let's call this boom. And we'll call it 100. And set that up. I need to give it a comma there. And a semicolon here. Okay, so okay, save that. I have my script running, so this should load up. Now in my cards file, let's add PG boom, and there we go. Save that, that should match. Okay, cool. We got that up and running. Now we just need to add a grid to this one. And we'll tackle how this works in our responsive. But as of right now, there's no grid that needs to be doing anything. Okay, so let's take a look at our footer. So this is what our footer looks like. This is what we want it to look like. Okay, so what do we need to do here? So we have our container. So I think it's in here. So let's go ahead and add our grid. And let's give it a grid of 2 columns. That should go boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. Now, let's also add a gap of 4. There should be spacing there. Okay. Now, in this one, we need to specify our first section here to column span. So we need a call span of 2. And we're going to tell it to justify self center, and that should push in. Now let's make this larger to 12. Okay, cool. Now let's do the same for this down here for our follow us section. So class equals call span 2. Okay, so we got that. Now, do we do a justify self as well? Okay, that does that. Now, we need to also add another one, another grid for here. So this li grid call 3 and a gap of 20, and that should push it. Yeah. Okay, and for here we need to add something there because it's kind of, so for here let's do grid and gap 2, and that pushes that down. Wait, I have a pipe here that we shouldn't have. Okay, so I think that's good. This spacing here is a little tight. I don't like that. So let's do this in our CSS. Footer. Let's do footer H4. Apply. And we're going to do margin bottom of 2. Now we also have our text size here, so I'm going to remove this. Save that. That should all shrink, and I'm going to add that to here. So it was what, text to XL. And once that rebuilds, we should be all good. And I want to also do letting of none, because I think it gives it extra up and down. Okay, so that's all good. We got spacing here, spacing there. Okay, so let's copy those over into our index. So I'm going to grab my card here. So main, oh, not main, just this section. And I'm going to grab this footer and replace the footer. Save that. And that should replace our index file. Okay, so I'm going to leave that here. And in the next video, we'll take a look at possibly responsive design and getting it up and running and seeing what it looks like in desktop. So I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the content so far. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave a comment down below. To stay updated with the latest content from the channel, you can subscribe by clicking right here in the middle.